Mr. Chair, and thank you for being here. First, I would like to ask if you can provide the committee, the letter that is on the CBC website, so it can be official in its, it can be provided to each committee member.
I am prevented by law from doing so, sir.
Okay, and thank you. But to follow, I would like to know if you think the tax scheme by KPMG, do you think, in your opinion, is legal?
Canada Revenue Agency uncovered this scheme through our actions. There are, on the public record, our characterization of the scheme. That's in the public record, and that, again, could easily be forwarded to the committee.
But do you think the scheme was legal when it was implemented by KPMG?
We would not have gone into litigation if we didn't have concerns about this scheme, and it's why we continue to pursue each and every participant in the scheme.
So, the scheme wasn't legal if you want to pursue a court case?
We are in court to obtain information on every participant in it. We are in court to ensure that the tax assessed are paid in full, and that Canada's tax laws are upheld.
So if you think that scheme is not legal, why would you send a letter to KPMG to transfer it to their clients to have an amnesty? And I call it amnesty because in the dictionary it says, je l'ai en français, c'est un acte du législateur qui efface rétroactivement le caractère punissable des faits auxquels il s'applique. Et selon le cas, l'amnistie empêche ou éteint l'action publique. So in my opinion, we are in the presence of an amnesty. So why, if you think the scheme is not legal, why would you send an amnesty letter to taxpayers instead of pursuing this in court?
We are pursuing it in court. I respectfully disagree with the characterization of amnesty. I think a common sense test, if I may leave the committee, that if any of your taxpayers come to you and they've been approached by the Canada Revenue Agency and asked for an assessment of taxes owing and interest over 15 years and paid within 60 days, I don't think your constituent would characterize that as an amnesty. Mr. Gallivan.
But no, sorry, if you think it's an illegal scheme and the taxpayer signed that offer, if the taxpayer received your letter by KPMG, signed that letter, you still have the power to pursue them in court and take all the money and the penalties and the interest if they have signed it.
Mr. Gallivan.
Again, we can't confirm that actual agreement posted to the website is an actual agreement. However, we would enter into that kind of agreement because in the agency's judgment, in consultation with Department of Justice, after hundreds of hours, we believe there is some legal risk. First, that we would not obtain the identity of the participants. Secondly, that our tax assessment could be challenged and may not stand up in court. We would look at the facts and evidence we have. We would look at the facts and evidence that the taxpayer has. We would look at legal precedents, and then we'd make a judgment. I'd like to correct two other things. First of all, the interest in this case, if one did a hypothetical calculation, the interest would represent a 25% surcharge. A second element, a careful reading of the document on the CBC website indicates there is no immunity from criminal prosecution. The third point is going back 15 years effectively doubles the bill for a taxpayer versus our traditional 6-year aggressive tax planning audit.
Thank you. I would like to ask a question to Madame Anderson. If Mr. Gallivan, you say you don't think this letter is real. Madame Anderson, can you confirm that you signed that letter that is posted on the CBC website?
Although the signature appears to be my signature, I can't confirm the source of the information on the website, so therefore I cannot confirm the origin of the document and whether it would be mine or not.
But can you confirm that you signed that letter?
No, I cannot, because I do not know the source of the document.
But why would your signature would be on that letter if you didn't sign it?
Mr. Chair.
Sorry. Go ahead.
I think it would be important to hear from legal counsel. We wish to be as forthcoming as we can be, but I do want members of Parliament to understand the legal constraints. We are bound by the law as approved by Parliament, and I'll ask legal counsel to explain, if I may.
So, go ahead, Ms. Levette, and we'll not take away from your time.
Okay,
Mr.
thank you.
Dussault. Go ahead, Mr. Levette, Madam Levette.
I'll be short. Section 241 of the Income Tax Act prohibits officials from disclosing information that is taxpayer information. And as such, Ms. Henderson isn't in a position to talk about any of the details of the particular letter to which you refer.
So, thank you, Mr. Chair. So there's a letter that is signed, but you cannot confirm that it was signed. So I understand it correctly. It's a bit surprising. Who signed off on that offer? Because I think, Madam Anderson, maybe you were not alone writing that letter. Someone wrote it at some point. So who wrote that letter, and who was superior to you, who signed off on that action?
I can't speak to the specifics of the case in question or to the letter that you're referring to. Settlement privilege would preclude me from discussing that matter. But if you would let me speak generally to the matter, in any case, I review the facts of the case. I consult with our Justice Council. They provide me with legal advice as to what the risks are and what issues that we may concern with regard to legal precedent. Together we would come up with a draft position. I would then approach my director and in turn my assistant commissioner, who would then, I would present it to them, and then we would move forward.
So that's how it happens. You did all that process to, at the end, came with that letter that is on the CBC website. That's the process you use.
That would be the general process that I would use with any agreement that we may consider in regard to taxpayer agreements. I just point out in the Auditor General report, they did an extensive review in 2013 of offshore agreements and concluded that they were effective and efficient, and that we were using them appropriately and ensuring national consistency.
Direct answer that is available from Ms. Brooks' summary findings. I quote, "While senior management was appropriately consulted and briefed, decisions were made by the CRA team assigned with carriage of the file with due consultation within the Department of Justice."
Thank you. I would like now to turn on the voluntary disclosure program, because it appears on the letter that is on the CBC website. It's you ask the taxpayer to use the voluntary disclosure program. So in the circulaire d'information, du programme de divulgation volontaire, on parle que la divulgation doit être volontaire. Une divulgation, je le cite, une divulgation ne sera pas considérée comme une divulgation valide en vertu de la condition volontaire si l'ARC détermine ce qui suit. Le contribuable était au courant d'une vérification, d'une enquête ou d'autres mesures d'exécution que devait entreprendre l'ARC ou toute autre autorité ou administration en ce qui concerne les renseignements divulgués à l'ARC. Donc, comment pouvez-vous accepter une divulgation volontaire alors que il est contraire à la règle des divulgations volontaires? Le contribuable qui a reçu la lettre par l'intermédiaire de KPMG savait que l'ARC avait des soupçons sur ses agissements. Donc, comment peut-il se prévaloir du programme de divulgation volontaire dans ce cas-ci?
Mr. Gallivan?
Again, on n'est pas dans la possibilité de confirmer que le document sur le site web est un document de l'agence, mais en général, je dirais, quand il y a un règlement légal, c'est un processus entièrement distinct de notre programme de divulgation volontaire. Ils sont distincts. Dans le cas d'un arrangement légal, on considère les faits, on considère les risques juridiques, on considère le bien-être du fiscal national et on fait un choix. Je dirais aussi, dans certains cas, quand c'est en matière de principe, il n'y a aucun arrangement légal. S'il y a un précédent légal à établir, il n'y a aucun arrangement avec l'agence. Quand on est 100% garanti dans les faits, il n'y a aucun arrangement. C'est le risque légal, dans le cas échéant, de ne pas avoir les noms, et deux,
No, sorry, I was just signaling to Mr. Dussault. He was at a time. You finished
Sorry,
your
Mr.
answer,
Chair, I
Mr.
thought that was a
Gallivan.
signal to hurry up, which I was endeavoring to do.
Okay. Thank you both.
Thank you. Mr. Dussault.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just to come back quickly on the letter that was on the CBC website. Madam Anderson, can you confirm that the signature that we see on the letter is your signature? That if I ask you to sign on a piece of paper, would that be your signature?
It appears to be my signature, but I can't confirm that it's an actual document that I signed because I don't know the source of the document.
Okay, so knowing that, I would ask Mr. Trish, if you can come back, I would like to ask if you can come back to the committee just to confirm that that letter was sent. I understand the legal implication of providing us the letter itself, but can you come back to the committee to confirm that this letter was sent? It's an actual letter, if it were sent or not?
I think this question has been asked and answered by me and by legal counsel that we're unable by Section 241 of the Income Tax Act to enter into that kind of discussion.
I don't want you to provide the letter itself, just to provide us if you did send that letter or not.
I sent no letter.
And why?
Pardon?
Why? We just, as parliamentarian, we want to know if you did send that letter. It will help us in our work.
Perhaps you mean as a representative of the Canada Revenue Agency rather than myself. But I'll ask Ms. Lovett again to talk about the legal restrictions that binds all revenue agency employees.
So I spoke earlier about Section 241 of the Income Tax Act. Without referring to any specifics of what may have happened or not in the KPMG litigation, I can say that anything that would have been sent in that context would also be subject to settlement privilege. And so I believe that your question is an effort to determine whether or not this specific letter was sent in that specific case, and Ms. Henderson isn't in a position to answer that question.
Thank you. Now, turning on something else, je ferai une analogie avec la situation qu'on a devant nous, avec un vol de banque, où des voleurs masqués rentreraient dans une banque, voleraient l'argent. À leur sortie, la banque est entourée de policiers. Et lorsque les voleurs sortent de la banque, sont masqués, donc on ne peut pas les identifier, les policiers leur disent « Donnez-moi l'argent, peut-être quelques pénalités, et on vous laisse partir. Vous ne serez jamais poursuivi en justice. On ne peut pas vous identifier, donc partez, puis merci pour nous avoir donné l'argent. » Est-ce que je caractérise bien l'analogie qui est possible de faire avec le code KPMG, où on sait, et il est clair dans le document qui a été mis à la Cour fédérale, in the application in the federal court you did to add the names. Mr. Russell Lyon, auditor of Victoria, British Columbia, he swear in an affidavit filed to the court. As a result of the compliance audit of the taxpayers, the CRA position is that the taxpayers, through the offshore company structure set up for them, did not cede control and influence over the assets they caused to be transferred to the offshore company. And he says, the CRA's position is that the investment
Mr.
income...
Dussault, I'm going to have to get you to wind it up. You're well over time.
So just to finish, he said the assets is taxable in Canada and the taxpayer's end, and that they are required to file Form T1135. So why, if you know that it's illegal, why would you offer
Mr. Gallivan?
an amnesty?
To take up your analogy, again, I can't confirm that document represents an actual offer, and I can't disclose any specific taxpayer information. But in cases like this, the analogy I would use is more before the courts, and an accused who's willing to plead guilty but wants to have a conversation about the sentence. From the perspective of the agency, there's always a legal risk around our position. We've taken the position that the specific Isle of Man structure is not compliant. Only the courts can give us a final determination, and that hasn't happened yet. We sought information from KPMG because we wanted to hold those participants to account and we're in court trying to get those names. We have no guarantee that we'll be successful. And so in a situation like that, if there was a theoretical opportunity to get value for the Canadian taxpayer, the agency might do so.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just want to put a notice, a motion on notice.
Okay.
The motion, so it's just a notice, so I would like to discuss it later. It's related to what we are discussing right now. That the committee compel the Canada Revenue Agency to provide all written correspondence, including, but not limited to, letters and emails between the Canada Revenue Agency and the KPMG SRL accounting firm, issued between January 1st, 1999 and May 5th, 2016, regarding the Isle of Man tax plan and any matters related to that plan, and that the documents be provided to the committee no later than Wednesday, May 18, 2016. So it's just a notice. I would like to discuss it later at committee
Okay,
business.
notice is